Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and today I'm going to see about mounting a throttle and a choke and a kill switch and a hour RPM meter on the wood splitter. Right now, this is what I'm working on right here, and I'm hoping this will work. We'll probably have to put some screws in it to hold it down and mount it about right there. But I got to cut this hole out. This here used to be a plate that I had mounted to one of my benches that had an outlet in it, and this is how I mounted it. Well, I went and redone all my electrical on my bench when I moved, and this plate was left over, and I think this John Deere or Cub Cadet, whichever it is, will fit down in there once I trim this out a little bit and get that to set in there nice. I'll bring it all the way to this side to where it's just barely before it hangs off of the aluminum, and I'm going to have that big gap there, so I have to remember to have my first screw right here, not here in the corner. Although in the corner it might actually hit right there, so I'd rather do the corner if I can. So it's possible I can do all 4 corners. So just put a 1032 screw in it and be done with it. Then I've got my kill switch that I'm thinking about putting right there, or somewhere around here, probably right about there. We'll see about seeing if we can center it to this right here, and I believe it'll work. That way, when I trim this off, I'm going to trim this off to where it's about a 1/4 inch past this, and just trim it off, and then I'll round this to that, and then this side I'll just kind of taper off and go up and do a little round off. And then I'll round these corners here, shape it up a little bit better, and that will land right in the middle of that black stuff, which is like a rough textured tape. And then we got our hour meter that we're going to put right there, I think. So I'll have to drill a hole right here all the way through so that I can do some cable management, run this underneath and come back out the back side. I'll have to drill a hole in this too to go across, but that's just a little hole, so it don't matter, I can drill that. And then we'll have a hour meter. I'll use 1032 screws on it too, and I'll know my RPMs. That will help me when I go to adjust the carburetor and stuff. That will actually be a tool to help me adjust it the way it should be. 1800 at idle and 3600 full throttle. So we've got the motor mounted. I got the muffler on with the sleeve that they gave us, and that thing fit tight on that nipple I had. Right now I've got the Lovejoy connection disconnected so I can run the motor without the pump, because they gave me the wrong fittings on my going to the valve. So it still fits this because they didn't change this side. They changed that in and they put a smaller fitting on it to take smaller threads, like for gas lines. So, because that nipple that that fitting that they put on this should have been the same size as this one. and they're not. So it won't thread in. To that. Won't even come close. Won't even go past the taper. So I gotta go get them to lick their cat over. Seems like people like to lick their cats a lot. Oh shit. So I've got all my gas lines hooked up. I don't have no fluid in it yet. I'm still waiting on my stickers. I had a problem with that. The guy wasn't going to ship it. And I asked him to cancel the order, and I went and ordered it again from somebody in Ohio. I put some gasket between there, that membrane, like that right there. Same stuff I made the gaskets for the tank. On both sides to pad the tank a little bit. Now I've only got it mounted with one screw bolt on this side and one bolt on this side. Now if I see a problem, I'll drill this and put another bolt in. But there's nothing I can do about this one because they didn't weld no ear to it, and I'm not going to redo this tank. In order for me to weld an ear to that to make it like this, I'd have to grind that down flat metal and weld it, and I ain't doing all that. So I'm running low on paint. So the valve is done. These two are correct. I got them done someplace else. So I got those in. And got my new valve, my new gauge, my new handle that I made on the lathe, the clevis that I turned this piece and then welded the original ears that was on the original clevis onto this. I made the ram, and my buddy welded it all up for me. In fact, I think he did just about all the welding on it. The only welding he didn't do was right there when I done that wedge. And I didn't do too bad a job. I was using 6011. I should have been using 7018. But I got a cap that I made for underneath here. That hole's open, and I closed the back off. It's the same way. But I got to take this back off. I got to put that in, drill the holes, and then tap this right here for 1032, and then that way I can just screw them in. Well, no, I can't do that because the screw will land right here and it won't pass it. So I guess it's back to spray foam. Because I don't want to be going out there, because the wood splitter is the one that usually sets the longest, and all these creatures, they think, oh, there's a pipe, we can make a home there. He won't mind getting stung when we take over his property. I'd like to eliminate all that and just put some spray foam in it, and I think I have some. It's an old can. It may not be any good no more. But there she bees. New build axle, new paint job, new wheels, new hubs, new muffler. And that's only because, well, I got to looking at that other muffler that I pulled off of it and the bolts broke off. I was looking at that muffler, hell, it was Swiss cheese. I said, well, hell, it needed to be replaced anyway. So I like these better anyway. You can just unscrew that and put another one on it and be done with it. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing is try to get it running. That won't be until tomorrow, and I will pull it out in the front to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and got off topic here. I'm gonna go ahead and start working on this and see if we can't get something to happen here. So the first thing I want to do is measure to make this fit. So I'll cut that down and get this to where it's laying flat down in there, and then that cable will go back in this hole that was already there. Don't ask me why that hole's there, but it's there and it helps me. So I'm pretty sure, let me put you on the tripod. I'm pretty sure that I've got enough to go to the throttle, which would be right here. So once I get that where mounted, then I'll find out where I want to drill a hole right here. So what I'll do, I'll drill me a little hole right here big enough for this to go up through and fish it up through there, and that way it'll be contained within this bracket. Same thing with the choke, but the choke, I'm not sure how that gets hooked up because this has got a hand lever on it, and I don't believe there's a thing on the other side. No, there's not. So I may just be putting this up in there just to get it out of the way, because I'm not sure how that would hook up. Plus, I don't mind that hand choke anyway. Alright guys, we've got everything mounted in here and the plate cut, and I just 45'd it just like I said I was going to. So now all I gotta do is tighten up the bolts. So now we've got our switch installed. So all I gotta do is run my wires. I gotta run one to this wire here on the side of the motor, and then the other one will go to the motor somewhere. We'll find some place on the other side to put it on, because we'll run them both the same place with the cable. Now I'm thinking real serious about cutting that choke cable off, because I don't ever need it. I hate to lose the option if I ever did need it. Maybe I can just pin it up there. But we got it so that it's working the throttle. All the way back is full throttle. Although it's opposite on the instructions. There's rabbits up here and turtles back here, so it's just going to have to be opposite. I could have put it on this side right here and made it work opposite, but I couldn't get the cable to route up through there, and if I did, I would have to drill a hole straight up through this H-beam, and I was not doing that. So we're just going to have to deal with the fact that it's backwards. And I've got my toggle switch on, but when you use it for a kill switch, you want to reverse this plate. Off is on and on is off. Because when you put it in the on position originally with the switch, it would be in the off position, because it would break, or it would contact. You want this to be in contact in the off position. So that would be kill. So if I was using this as a regular toggle switch, this plate would be turned around. So, and then I got my meter hooked up. I wrapped it 6 to 8 turns around the wire for the spark plug, and I just draped it up around the back of the motor here and up the back. So I just drilled 2 holes there, one for the throttle and one for the meter. And I got my filter there, and I'm thinking about 3D printing something that will bolt to these that this here will set in, with a little cradle on this side and a little cradle on that side. I don't know yet. That might be overkill. So the next step is running the wires for the switch. So I'll get my wires and get them ready to put on, and then we'll show you what I'm going to do. Alright, so we've got our wire, and we're just going to take and strip that, twist it, put her in, tighten her down, and we're going to take the switch out to do that. Alright, so now we've got the right heat shrink. So we'll go ahead and we're trying to make this as neat as possible, so it looks really decent. You got to have attention to detail. See there, don't that look a whole lot better? And we'll put the other one on. And then we will shrink them. Alright, so now we've got that. So now we'll just run this right along with the rest of them, and hope we got enough room through that hole where we brought the meter up through. And then I'm probably going to put some kind of a loom over top of all this to run through here. So that's one of the reasons why I was thinking about just cutting that choke off, so I can hide that and make it look a whole lot neater. I want to put some of that tubing on it, wire loom or whatever you want to call it. So now we get to run the wires, and hope I've got a big enough hole. I didn't anticipate this one. Yeah, I don't believe we'll have a problem getting one through that one. In fact, let me move this one and put it with the other one, because I want these two to stay together. So we'll put that one up through that hole that I just made. And we'll put that one up through there. Make sure I still got everything nice and loosey. Alright, so now one of these will go to this wire. So we're just going to take and cut that right there. get us a piece of heat shrink. Then we'll put our heat shrink on it. Then we will twist those together. Bend it over the opposite way of the side that your heat shrink is on. The reason being is if you folded that this way, that point would be catching it and you'd never get it to slide on there. Alright, so now we'll heat that up. Alright, so now this one here, we're just going to tape it to it. So it's going to get taped, by God. Well, we're just going to tape it up so it don't ground up against something. And we're going to put wire loom over top of it anyway, so it don't matter. Alright, so now that is ready to be used. Alright, now this one here, we're probably going to let's see how we want to route this. Do we want to route this one the same way as we did the meter? I think we will. So we're just going to take and try to run that around there just like that. Bring it up through here. And then we're going to put us an eye on it about right there. And that flat spot worked out for us, didn't it? Alright, it's going straight into the aluminum, so it's definitely going to get a ground. So it's going to ground itself out when you turn the switch on. So we're not going to start this in this video. I can't start it until I get my hose. So I'm just showing you the what I'm doing to get this ready. So now I want to get some of that, and I wasn't thinking when I did my meter, I didn't leave enough to go along with the I'll show you what I mean here. I didn't have enough to go down to here because I want to keep all that together because I plan on putting that wire loom on that. So let's do that right now. I don't have a whole lot of that wire loom, so this is all I've got. So I've got to pick and choose what's going to work where. This might work right there. So that one's going to be that one. It's a little big, but then let's see if we can find us a longer, smaller one to put over top of that. It might be too small, so we'll go ahead and put that on there. Shame I couldn't get that one in there. But that's alright. I'll put an eye on this. I'll take this bolt here back out, put an eye on it, and just mount that up there like that. And then all I gotta do is worry about how I can probably mount the choke up there with it. So it's too damn long to do anything. I might just cut the damn thing off. It's just starting to bug me. And if I think too long on it, I'll get aggravated and say to hell with it and pull it the hell out of there and cut it. In fact, I think I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to cut that son of a bitch off. I'll never need it. Well, that looked too damn god awful. So now all I gotta do is just get me a little eye to put to this bolt right here, and that'll work. So now we've got our throttle working. Our choke don't work. And it definitely don't work now, because now it won't move. So we've got our kill switch hooked up and throttle hooked up. We got this hooked up. So as soon as I get my cable, guys, that goes from here to that one, I just got to put a new end on it. Thank God I had an extra 2 inches to work with, because they had to cut, they're going to have to cut another 2 inches of it off. Well, that would mean they'd have to give me a new cable or new hose. So all they was supposed to do was cut it and put the right ends on it, and they didn't put the right ends on it. So that's where we're at, guys. Still got the sticker yet to put on it, and we still need to put a Bison logo on it. If you guys want to make a suggestion as to where I should put the logo, the Bison logo, let me know. Tell me in the comments. But anyway, got my deer out here in the yard. One right there. One right there, and there's probably one around the corner. But there you have the wood splitter build, almost done and ready for testing. As soon as I get the hose, we're going to do a test and show you guys it running. And it's always a good idea before you start this, even if your hose is on, you don't want to run the pump until you know the motor is correct. So that's why I wanted to get that shaft cleaned off, so I could back that off of there. So now it's not going to turn the pump. So hope you guys learned something from this and enjoyed what you seen. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good one. Later.